This happened to me 6 months ago in Vernal, Utah. My name is Ethan, and I'm 17 years old. I'm a senior in high school, and I work at a local deli. I had an encounter with something I can't explain. I was pulling into my driveway after work, minding my own business. It was about 7:30 at night when these two kids came up to me. They looked like they were 10 to 12 years old. One was a couple inches taller, but they were both boys. These boys looked like they came out of nowhere, right as I pulled into my driveway. There's no bushes or anything like that around my house, and as I pulled up, I didn't see them. But as soon as I parked, they were standing right next to my driver window. They were wearing jeans and white t-shirts. One of them was wearing a black sweatshirt, and the other one had a red sweatshirt. But all of their clothes looked faded and old. They started to ask me if they could have a ride, but from the very beginning of this encounter, I felt nervous and scared of them. I can't explain why. I can't explain why I would even be scared of two small children, but they just made me feel like something was wrong with them. And I'm glad that I listened to my gut. I lied and I told them my car was having problems, and I needed my dad to look at it before I could drive it again. The shorter one did most of the talking, and said where they were going wasn't too far, and the car would be fine. The other kid nodded to agree with him, but it was a slow, creepy nod. Not an enthusiastic nod that I would expect from a child their age. I told them it still needed to be looked at before I could drive it again. Then the shorter one asked if they could use my cell phone. I actually didn't have my cell phone on me that day, so I couldn't let them use it anyway. I told them I didn't have it, so they asked me if they could use the house phone. They were very pushy, like their goal was to get to me, or get inside. They weren't very polite either, just short and blunt, almost like they were socially awkward or something. One of them looked up, and that's when I saw his eyes. They were pure black, no color at all. I jumped back in my seat and stared at them. Then the other one looked up too. His eyes were the same as the other one. There wasn't anything in their eyes. No soul. I think they knew how terrified I was, and I think they liked it, because they started grinning at me. The short one asked if they could use the house phone again, and I told them I could go inside and get it, but they couldn't come in. "Well, I have to use the bathroom. Let us in," the shorter one said to me. At this point, they started to get angry and demanding. They were basically telling me that I needed to let them in, and every time I told them no, they got more and more pushy and more mad. I told them they had to leave, that they weren't welcome here, but then they went back to asking to use the phone. "Come on, let us in. We need to use the phone." "Yeah, let us in. Let us use the phone. We need to go to the bathroom too," both of them just kept saying. And every time I told them no, they just kept arguing. Then I had the idea of honking my horn to get my family's attention and let them know that I needed help. I laid on the horn and then kept pressing it, over and over again, telling the evil kids to go away, that they weren't welcome here. I was so scared I was sweating, and my heart was racing. I've never been so scared in my whole life. They said they really needed to use the phone, but then I yelled at them to get away from me, and that my dad was going to come out with his gun. After this, they turned and casually walked off, thanking me anyways, and then they walked down the street. I started honking more, and my dad and my brother finally came out of the house. I flew out of my car and ran to them, telling them what happened to me, which way the kids went. I told them everything that I saw, even the eyes, and my dad ran back into the house to grab his gun. When he came back outside, he jumped in the car with my brother, and they took off down the street to find the kids. They didn't find anything, or any signs of the kids at all. It's like they just disappeared. For weeks after that, I had nightmares about them. I dreamt that they got in the house, and they would just stare at me. I couldn't sleep some nights. Other nights I would just stare out the window, scared that they would come back. I refused to be alone outside. My friend told me, based on what I told him from my encounter, that it seems like they needed an invitation. An invitation to get into my car, and an invitation to get into my house. He thinks that they were vampires, but the more I research, the more I learn about black-eyed kids. I'm not sure if they're vampires, or aliens, or demons, or what, but I do know that there's something evil. When I looked into their eyes, it was like I was looking into nothingness. There was this blackness that felt like it was going to creep inside of me and steal everything away that made me me. This encounter really scared the hell out of me and makes me realize there are things out there that we don't know about yet. Or maybe they're just things that we refuse to believe in. Here's a follow-up email. Thank you for responding to me. I listened to your other encounters of black-eyed children like you'd recommended. And then I listened to them again and again. And I truly believe that the things that these people encountered were the things I did as well. I do like the fact that in one of the encounters, the man kept saying the Lord's Prayer and praying and calling on the name of God to get rid of these creatures. If I ever run into them again, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to summon every angel that I ever learned about, and I'm going to pray every prayer that I ever learned, and I'm going to send these things packing. Thank you for your time, and thank you for presenting these encounters and making people realize that there are things out there that can harm you.